Hello, Reformers, and welcome back to Star Wars The Old Republic, Knights of the Fallen Empire edition. And so, we are now going to be heading on to investigate the technological object, and we are going to be getting on our mount here, and making our way over to its location. Now, we do have, of course, one of my favorite companions so far, which is HK55. I really love him. He is absolutely amazing in my opinion, and we're going to be hopefully making good use of him on our various missions. And so, let us make our way over to the next one. Apparently this one is not large enough? No, it does not appear related to the object. Okay, so instead we're just going to be interacting with this as well. There we go. And now we'll be stealthing just to make sure that we don't actually get attacked by any of these sky troopers that are spawning in from the sky, and we'll be making our way around here to interact with this next one. There we are. The object is ancient and appears to be broken off something much larger. So there is ahead of us a Jedi Guardian, but other than that we have a personal phase, and we are going to be heading straight on in. So what do we have to do here? Well, it appears as though we need to investigate yet another technological object, but this appears to be, oh my, littered with enemies. So we are going to be making our way through the swamp, and no doubt we are going to be pulling every single enemy known to man. Okay, so the main, oh my, the main thing to take away from this is that we probably want to be careful. Yes, there we go. Okay, now wait a second. Let's do this properly, shall we? Let's get that dotted up, and let's do some AoE damage. And let's get some deflection going on here, and maybe some saber overcharge. And let's try and deal some AoE damage. Oh yes, that's what we like to see. Lovely AoE damage. Let's zoom the camera out a little bit as well, just to make sure everything's good. And there it is. HK saves the day by the looks of things. Look at that healing. That was just absolutely insane healing right there. And we were able to kill all of our opponents as well, apart from this one, of course, which is going to die post-haste, and there it falls before us. And now let's just buff up, make sure everyone is buffed here, and then move on to the Ancient Swamp Rancor. That's exactly what I want to fight, isn't it? Yes, a very big enemy indeed, and we are going to be starting off with a very nice Creeping Terror there, and a Discharge. And HK has actually taken aggro, which is a little bit embarrassing, to say the least, considering he is actually using his healing spec right now. So, yes, actually getting aggro taken from that is a little embarrassing, but nevertheless, we are going to continue our dotting rampage against this Rancor. And hopefully he will fall before us. There we have it. And now we must speak to HK, by the looks of things. Okay. Let me put away my lightsaber.
Admiration. It is a great pleasure to witness your skills firsthand, Master.
Master?
Clarification. Master Benico altered my programming before we secured your release. I am to serve you with the same unexcelled loyalty with which I serve her. In fact, your survival is now my highest priority.
If I'm your highest priority, does that mean you obey me above Lana or Koth?
Caveat. I cannot accept any order from you that would directly endanger Masters Benico or Vortena. Otherwise, I am at your full disposal.
Do I have the authority to modify that programming?
Contradiction. Yes, oddly enough you do. Though I can't imagine why you might wish to.
When it comes to my orders, you will remove all safeguards. You will obey me no matter what, and you won't tell anyone about this change.
Reprioritization. I have altered my programming accordingly, Master. Resumption. Shall we continue?
Well, that sounds good to me. Goodness me. Wow, that is very, very cool indeed. I really do love the HK series, and we'll hopefully have HK with us most of the time. So let's just move around here relatively sneakily and try to avoid all of the bog monsters. as we do not really require the experience. As you can probably see, we are just about to hit level 65, which is the max cap in this expansion. So that is rather impressive, to say the least. I'm not entirely sure why it was so easy to get 65, but I suppose it is, well, it's rather welcomed, isn't it? Because, of course, we don't have to really worry about leveling that much now then, and we can just enjoy the story.
Is this the object you picked up on your sensors?
Confirmation. Yes, Master. A closer scan suggests that this object has been here for several centuries.
Centuries? Of all the junk out here, you had to find the antique.
Observation. Visible design elements do not match any from Zakuulan culture, antique or modern.
Not from Zakuul. Could it be?
He doesn't overthink things.
Haha! Do you have any idea what this is?
It looks like some kind of old spacecraft.
This is the Gravestone. This was the only ship that ever went up against the Eternal Fleet and won. Do you have any idea how long people have been looking for this thing?
And we just happened to stumble upon it.
You said this ship went up against the Eternal Fleet and won. But it's rusting in a swamp, while the fleet is still around.
The fleet is even older than Valkorion. Maybe even older than Zakuul. The battles happened centuries ago. Nobody knows the details of the whole war, but every story talks about the Gravestone. One ship with the firepower to take on the Eternal Fleet. This is fate. We get your Outlander. Find exactly the weapon we need. We're going to win this thing, Lana. It's destiny.
It's certainly no coincidence, but destiny? I think there's something else going on here.
Do you think this is some kind of setup?
No, not exactly. I can't quite put my finger on it.
Let's have a look inside, huh?
Assessment. Nearby signs of animal activity suggest local predators may be using this wreck as a nesting ground. Caution is advised.
We'll split up, deal with any wildlife, then regroup to plan our next move.
Okay, and it appears as though we will need to... we're taking Koth with us now. And we need to clear out 6 beasts. Well, 6 groups of beasts by the looks of things, because we do have quite a few infestations to deal with by the looks of things as well. So that should be fine. We should be no problem at all being able to take those guys out at all. Obviously, Deathfield is going to help us dramatically here, and it doesn't appear as though many of these units are very high in HP either. So we should, in all theory, be able to deal enough damage to eliminate them very, very quickly indeed. And there is already 3 groups taken out, so no problem there. And as you can see, HK is counting his kills very, very quickly indeed. 16, 17, and 22. He is very, very efficient, of course. And we are almost done ourselves. Only 2 more groups to do. There we have it. Very nice. And 1 more group, and the group is actually down here. Okay. And I have Deathfield soon, so hopefully I'll be able to use that against the majority of this group. And there we have it. Yes, very nice. Okay. Now, I am just going to be using Lacerate here. I don't think there's any point in dotting most of these up, as they just die way too quickly. And this is what we are going to definitely be using our dots on, that's for sure. And we'll try and get a nice demolish on there and a nice assassinate, and we'll take out the ads as well. There we go. Ah, yes, I really do love assassinate and indeed lacerate for their damaging capabilities. Obviously, lacerate is AoE, so we want to make sure we use that on the small ads here. And now we must use the airlock to, I suppose, enter the inner workings of the ship. And we have now just accessed a, well, a tanking shield. Probably not for us right now, but nevertheless, let's interact.
The endless swamp. After the damage you inflicted, they couldn't have made a safe landing anywhere else.
And if they didn't make a safe landing?
We'll know soon enough. Sky Troopers, sweep the area. Focus on regions with high metallic sensor readings.
I oversaw security in the Carbonite prison. I humbly submit myself to answer for this failure.
Sister.
I didn't like his answer.
So this ship has been here for 1,000 years. More.
Right. It's amazing that it's in such good condition, considering. Judging by the damage I've seen, the stories are true. Whoever built the Gravestone scuttled it themselves after the Eternal Fleet was defeated. It wasn't shot down.
The fleet was defeated but not destroyed. Valkorion brought it back under his own control more than a century ago.
Exactly. The Eternal Fleet is totally automated. Nobody knows who first built it, and every theory is crazier than the last.
Renegades left behind after a successful droid revolution. Representatives of an entire race of droids from somewhere beyond the edge of the known galaxy.
Like I said, crazy stuff. But no matter where it came from, the Eternal Fleet is practically unstoppable. And Arkan controls every single ship from the throne.
If Valkorion has had this unstoppable fleet for more than a century, why didn't he use it to help the Sith Empire defeat the Republic?
We can only theorize. If the war was just part of a ritual to make the Emperor truly immortal, perhaps using the fleet would have interfered somehow. Regardless, we have many other things to discuss. I owe you 5 years' worth of explanations.
And I'm gonna need some parts to get this thing moving again.
Locating supplies and fresh water would also be wise.
I'll help you find what we need, Lana.
Very well.
Assertion. I will begin a patrol pattern to ensure that no enemy forces report our position.
Of course he will. A very, very efficient droid he is indeed. Okay, so now what oh yes, what must we do? Okay, so we're going to be heading outside by the looks of things and taking some readings for groundwater. So without further ado, let's go and do that. And I'm very hopeful that we'll actually be able to get this ship off the ground. It doesn't appear as though it's very, well, space-worthy, I suppose you could say. And oh, what's actually going on over here? What is this? Aha, the broken speeder. Okay, tasks. Find the power core, find the repulsor lift, find the okay, well, why not? And you actually get a boosted classic speeder bike. Okay, let's do that, why not? Seeing as the parts are only over here by the looks of things, it seems pretty easy to do. And we're going to be moving on over here. Is this correct? I think it is. Yes, it is. Very nice. Okay, so we're going to be picking up that. And we'll be moving around here as well. This seems like a relatively natural path to take, as it is. So I think we should be good. We should be very good to acquire the speeder. And then we'll also be taking readings for groundwater, of course. Now, I am pretty sure that this water right here should be good enough, right? Well, maybe not. Not entirely sure, really, but nevertheless, it seems okay. I mean, obviously it is in a swamp, so you need to make sure that it is purified as much as possible, but you would imagine that they would have equipment to be able to do something along those lines, but yes, maybe they didn't bring it with them, or maybe they just didn't think that far ahead. But nevertheless, we are going to find the power core. There we are. And now attach the parts to the frame. Okay, this seems to actually be one of the easiest quests we've ever done. And I do believe it will give us level 65, which is going to be very nice to see indeed. That will be the max level that we can currently get for this expansion. So every other enemy should fall before our might. And let us repair the speeder bike. There we are. Thank you very much. And there's level 65, and we have an additional point to spend. And what are we going to be spending it in? Well, that's the thing. I actually have no clue, because I have found that most of the Sith Assassins' combat proficiencies were mainly for PvP, or mainly for something else. Mostly to do with slowing and reducing cooldowns of abilities that I not really use. Ah, this might actually be pretty cool. Speed Surge. Activating Shock, Ball, Lightning, Crushing, Darkness, or Demolish increases your movement speed by 50% for 9 seconds. However, the problem with that... Oh, Force Cloak? No, that's not necessarily very good, but yes, nevertheless, the problem with that is that it has a cooldown of 18 seconds. So we're not really going to be able to use that much, and see, that's the problem. I have no clue what to go for, really. Most of it is to do with reducing movement speed, so I suppose we'll just take this. I have no clue, really, but we can always reset, I suppose, at a later point if we desire to change. But I do really like the Hatred spec, so I'm probably going to be keeping that at any rate. But other than that, I think we're going to be heading onward and trying to take the readings for the groundwater. Now let's just see. Ah, okay, so we have to actually... Whoa! Okay. Wait a minute. Okay. Okay, now that is actually super creepy. I would actually say that that is creepier than the actual Rancor itself when it is alive, but it seems to have some sort of display bug right now, so that is a little amusing, I have to admit. But thankfully enough, it actually gave me a little bit of a fright. So there we go. Ah, that was impressive, to say the least. So let us actually head over to one of these medical service droids and repair, sell all of our junk as well. A good amount of credits to be gained there. And now we'll be heading on to the first available groundwater reading, where everyone seems to be going, of course. And we'll see if we can actually find some good drinking water. If we can actually interact with it.
When Darth Mar and I faced Valkorion, we knew right away. He was the Sith Emperor, Lana.
I know. When he was struck down, it released ripples through the Force. Everyone who had felt the Sith Emperor's presence in the past, on Ziost, on Yavin 4, we all sensed what had happened. Arkan invaded soon after, claiming that an outlander had assassinated his father, the immortal Emperor. It didn't take long for us to unravel the truth.
Which side did Arkan attack first?
Both. Ships from the Eternal Fleet struck at shipyards and rallying points for both sides simultaneously. They favored ambush tactics throughout the war. Zakulan's sensor technology has far greater range than our own, and their ships can fly much further on less resources. Only vessels retrofitted with Isotope 5 could manage to outrun them. None could truly compete.
Okay, well, the one thing that is slightly irritating is the fact that it is not put in a personal phase, and everyone that decides to pull mobs next to the interaction point, obviously you do get a little bit of audio leakage, which is a little unfortunate to say the least, but nevertheless, we have already found the next water filter.
How long did the Republic and the Empire manage to hold out?
Within 3 months, the bulk of our naval forces were disabled or eliminated, and the Republic was in the same situation. With naval superiority, Arkan's forces could begin choking off supply lines, trade, any ship travel at all. The Eternal Fleet seemed to be everywhere at once. Coruscant and Dromund Kaas were blockaded by the end of the first year.
Well, that is incredibly impressive. I have to admit the tactics of Arkan are without any flaws by the looks of things, but I suppose the main strength that he has to wield is the Eternal Fleet, so that is definitely something that we will have to contend with in due time, no doubt. But nevertheless, we have now reached the last water filter.
How did it end?
The members of the Dark Council fought Arkan's invasion ruthlessly and lost. The Empire's treaty was ultimately negotiated by the Minister of Logistics. Chancellor Suresh also refused to discuss surrender, but the Republic Senate managed to overrule her. A cadre of senators negotiated their own ceasefire terms. All of those senators have since been disgraced or dismissed. I'm sure you can imagine a likely culprit.
What of my power base? Moff Pyron? The silencers?
Many of the vessels equipped with the silencers were lost in the initial fighting. The rest disappeared along with the Pyrans somewhere in the far outer rim. It is presumed that they were ambushed by the Eternal Fleet, but no wreckage has been found. We must carry on without them. So far, the treaties with Zakul have held. But that will not last forever.
Okay, well, there we have it. And, oh, okay. So I thought we had the water that we required, but apparently not. So we are going to be having some difficulties here with this particular set of enemies, but nevertheless we are going to be taking them out as quickly as we can. A nice death field will eliminate the two little ones at least. And there we have it. Very nice indeed. So where do we have to head to next? Over there by the looks of things. Okay, so let us head onward and actually make our way around. There we have it. Let's go this way. And we are apparently searching for an alternate site. Okay, not entirely sure why we are searching for an alternate site. I thought we would have easily found what we were looking for, and I do believe I need to fight these two units. Yes, we do. That is a little unfortunate, isn't it? Yes. Always when that happens, I'm like, oh yes, there's a phase, and then obviously I cannot get into it, so that's always a problem. But nevertheless, let's head in. And where do we need to go next? Well, it appears as though we might be able to stealth by most of these units, which would be a fantastic boon to our speed and efficiency here, but you know how these jungle enemies can be. Well, swamp enemies, shall we say. They can be rather sneaky and wily. They can detect us relatively easily, or never mind, because apparently the Swamp Rancor has returned, or at least a second one. So let's deal some damage to him, shall we? Let's get some dots up and try to just generally avoid his attacks as much as we can. I'm going to try and zoom out the camera a little bit just so we get a better view of the Rancor while we decimate his HP and destroy him eventually. A nice death field and a leeching strike to finish him off. Yes, thank you. And now we must search. Oh, wait a minute. They actually might be good leggings. Let's take a look. They are relatively similar, unfortunately enough. Okay, so yes, let's actually just go up here. There we have it. And we'll be searching the alternate site.
A freshwater spring. It should be safe for drinking.
So the Eternal Fleet overwhelmed both the Republic and the Empire. What was the result?
Both sides are forced to pay a heavy tribute to Zakul, mainly raw materials and resources. They're also held under an arms limitation statute. The Empire and the Republic are both breaking it, of course, but they're still incapable of challenging the throne directly.
Who rules the Empire now?
Darth Asina was the only Dark Council member left standing. All others died or disappeared in the chaos. Without opposition, she declared herself Empress of the Sith.
And the Republic?
Suresh remains in power, though she no longer holds the title of Chancellor. The Republic has limits to their ruler's terms, but her replacement is a mere puppet. Both sides see this only as an opportunity to eliminate one another at a time of weakness, instead of combining what strength they have. Archon does nothing to prevent violence between them, so long as their tribute is paid and no one challenges Zakuul's superiority.
I'm surprised Archon didn't try to destroy both governments. He obviously had the firepower.
I don't think Archon feels any desire to actually govern our portion of the galaxy. For now, he sees it as a backwater, useful only for resources. Powerful Zakuulan battle stations have been placed in orbit around key worlds to watch for possible uprisings. But there are no ongoing planetary occupations. The ships of the Eternal Fleet simply patrol at random, while the tribute paid to Zakuul gradually chokes all economic potential.
What about my team? My ship?
I have allies looking for them as we speak. With all of the chaos of the last few years, though, it will take time to find them all. For now, we make do with ourselves, Koth, and HK.
As long as you're here, there's nothing we can't handle.
The feeling's mutual. It truly is a relief to see you again.
Is that why you went to so much trouble to rescue me?
Before you were captured, you accomplished things no one else dared to attempt. You changed the galaxy more than once, and if things have ever needed to change, now is the time. But there is something else. I've felt it since the moment I found you in Carbonite. There's a power in you. Something new. It's elusive, but I know it's there.
I think you're right, Lana. I think the Emperor, Valkorion, is in my mind.
What?
After he died, there was a storm of energy. I barely even remember being thrown into the carbon freezing chamber. And then, while I was frozen, I saw things. Dreamed about him. About everything that happened while I was gone.
It can't be. If he were controlling you, I'd know it. I certainly saw enough of it on Ziost.
I don't think he's trying to control me. Not directly, anyway. He was trying to convince me to work with him.
Whatever he's doing, we can be sure that he's always trying to deceive us somehow. I believe in you. And I appreciate your honesty. I'll remain watchful for any influence he might have over you. For the time being, though, we have no choice but to proceed.
What about the others?
They wouldn't understand. And like you said, we really don't know anything for sure yet. Let's keep the matter between us for now.
Salutation. It is a pleasure to see you again so soon, Masters. I have encountered minimal resistance in my patrol.
How minimal?
Reassurance. Only one Sky Trooper and 3 local predators with poor survival instincts. Our position appears to be secure at this time, but I would still advise caution on your return trip, Masters.
Keep up the good work, HK.
Appreciation. It will be my pleasure to do so, Master.
Whoa, okay, so there we have it. We have a huge amount of backstory right there, and we now have the next step of our mission, which is to return to Koth on the Gravestone. And so, I am going to be ending this episode off here, and next time we will be speaking to him and seeing what needs to be done next. No doubt he needs us to find some spare parts or something along those lines. I think he spoke about that. And so, I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.